In this class, we are going to discuss the fundamentals of Gauss law. So we have already discussed few important properties of like Coulomb's law and electric field intensity, electric flux and electric flux displacement and their properties. So also we have discussed electric potential and potential difference. So now we come to our discussion related to Gauss law. Let us now see what Gauss law. This is extremely important and you need to study this. Take care of that you need to remember this Gauss law and understand the Gauss law property. So let us now see what Gauss law states. So let us write the statement first. So Gauss law states that total displacement flux emanating or coming out emanating from a closed surface S is equal to the total charge contained within volume B, okay, bounded by that surface. So this is Gauss law, and mathematically it can be represented I equal to closed surface integral of d, where d is the flux, and ds, that will be equals to integral of rho v dv is equals to q, okay. And also the differential form will be like this, del dot d equals to rho. Now let us discuss what it says. You can see that total displacement flux emanating from a closed surface S is equal to the total charge content within the volume V. That means suppose we are having a volume and this volume is enclosed by surface S. So this is your volume and this volume is enclosed by a surface S. So now from here some outward flux will be coming out. If some field is placed at the center or inside this volume, can see that some part of this charges will come out, or the electric flux will be in the direction, can be in the direction which is coming out from the surface of the volume. Now this from this volume, if this flux is coming out, you can have a very easy idea that it will have to cross the surface. So if you are having a volume, the flux can only come out through the surface that is contained by this volume, okay. So that means the total displacement flux, that means total amount of flux that is coming out from this volume will be equal to the closed surface, will be equal to total charge contained within the volume V bounded by that surface. That means what amount of flux will be coming out from this volume will be equals to, or what amount of total charge will be coming out through this surface which is enclosing the volume V will be equal to the total amount of charge that the volume contains within it, okay. So that means what amount of displacement flux, total amount of displacement flux through this surface which is containing this volume V will be equal to the total amount of charge that this volume V is holding, right? So this is the concept of the Gauss law. Let us now discuss, let us now solve a few expressions or practical case so that you understand this concept properly. This is the practical purpose. Practical problem. Let us now see this to evaluate the concept of this Gauss law and electric flux. So this is the problem which says a point charge Q is situated at the origin. Suppose you are having some volume. So let us consider that this point charge Q is situated at the origin. So now it is our job, what we need to find out is, it is desired to find this closed surface integral of ds. This expression stands for the Gauss law which we discussed just now, and the electric flux over the surface of radius a. That means the surface we are considering this, the radius of the surface is a, centered at the origin. That means suppose you draw the picture, so this is your origin. So let us have this Q is present at the origin. So now this is the surface and this radius is given as a, right? A. So this is your a. You need to find out the closed surface integral of dds, and also D. So this is your term you associated with Gauss law, and this is your electric flux. Now how to solve this kind of problem? So we know that simply answers, we can write this, we can have the solution like this. So we can write as per Gauss law, as per Gauss's law, we know that closed surface integral of d ds is equals to q. So this is your expression 1 from Gauss law. We can write this. Now the spherical surface is divided into large number of infinitesimal areas S, right? Let us consider this is a spherical, spherical system. Now the spherical system, we consider that let us divide into large number of infinitesimal areas. So now since d is normal to each of the sections, like each d, like the electric flux, so flux will be emanating in all the directions from the point of the origin. So if you consider d is normal to all of the directions, normal to each of the direction, so for each is for all of the, d, that is the flux which is coming out, will be simply equal to dds. So hence we can write closed surface integral of d ds, these are vectors, will be equal to d of ds. Surface integral of this will be equals to d. Okay, why I have written this? Because d is the flux that is coming to all of the, if I take this divided into small section, all this section into smaller parts, so what amount of, let us for a small part, the flux that is emanating through the surface, we can consider this as d. So that is why reason I have written from this expression from Gauss law, we can evaluate that this is equals to d. So this is, that means this is equals to surface, d is surface area of the sphere. So d is the surface area of the sphere, because we are taking small parts here. So we can simply hear what is the surface area of a sphere, that we write, this is 4 pi r square d. Now here r is a, so we can write 4 pi a square d, so this is our expression 2, right? So our first job was to find out the closed surface integral of dds. So the closed surface integral of dds is this. So answer 1 we have achieved, we have obtained. Now to get the second, to evaluate d, see this d, we have to just simply equate equation 1 and 2. Like from 1 and 2 we can easily write 4 pi, so this is equals to d. So d is equals to 4 pi r square d. So we can simply equals write it 4 pi a square d equals to q. Why? This dds equals to d, and dds in surface integral of dds is also equals to q. So this surface integral of dds we have evaluated at d, so d equal to q. So you can write, or we can write this equals to this 4 pi a square d is equals to q. So that is what I have written. So from here we can write d is equals to q by 4 pi a square. So this is the final expression of electric flux which we had required to find out. So we have got both the expression of surface integral of dds and the electric flux emanating throughout the surface. So, and this is the expression for this electric flux, right? So now we are going to discuss the proof of law, or we are going to prove whatever we discussed in the law, Gauss law. So that means I have drawn a figure. So in this figure you can consider this is a 3D figure, volume, these are spherical kind of volume, where this is the line of the flux that is coming from out from the origin of the volume, and this surface, this rectangular surface, I have taken as any part of the surface of that volume. Like you can say this pen, my pen can be, it can be, since it is a 3D figure, this pen can be in any direction. We can take the, consider the surface in any of the directions. So let us take, if this direction is this, like this, since it is a volume, so we can consider in this side also. And suppose in this side we are taking a, considering a volume section of the surface. So this is a representation of this figure, and this, through this surface some flux is emanating, right? And this d omega is the solid angle extended from by this surface from in respect to the origin, right? And the distance is given as r, right? So let us see how this Gauss law can be proved. So suppose, say let us consider that, say point charge q is located some charge q is located in a medium of permittivity epsilon, right? Suppose this is a medium where this point charge q is located, and within the medium the permittivity of this medium is epsilon, right? Now let us find out the EFI. Now EFI at any point at a distance r from the charge, right? So here we are going to calculate the EFI at any point at a distance r over the surface from the charge. Say the charge is placed at the center point charge q. So we are going to find out the EFI. So EFI will come as E vector. You know that how to find out this EFI, 4 pi epsilon naught, or for our consideration we are taking epsilon r square AR. Right, this is the unit vector. Suppose we consider it as our expression number 1. Another q will be there, I mean the test charge will be there. So this q, since EFI as you know, that is F by q, so another q and the q will get cancelled out, so this remains. So this is, let us consider as our equation number 1. Now electric flux density, which is represented by D, we have just discussed. So this D is, we have arrived at an expression where we call this D is equal to epsilon E, right? This is epsilon E. So we can write this D is equals to Q by 4 pi r square AR, right? Epsilon and this epsilon will get cancelled out. So this is our equation number 2. Now electric flux through some elementary surface, that is the surface, elementary surface area ds of ds. That means we are considering this elementary surface, this one, right? So for this surface or the elementary surface, part of total surface ds, so we are considering taking the differential amount of surface from the overall total surface. So we can write this electric flux through some elementary surface area ds can be given as d psi equals to d ds of cosine of theta, right? From this figure we can write. So this is our expression number 3, right? So now this theta, what is theta? As I said, theta is the angle between D and normal to ds. So I can write it here. This theta is the angle between D, that is the electric flux density D vector, and normal to ds, right? So this can be, I mean theta can be defined like this. So from figure we can write, and from definition of solid angle, you know that solid angle, this is, since this is a 3D one, so this is your some plane, I mean in a surface kind of thing. So the angle subtended by will not be a 2D one, so it will be a 3D angle, so which we call a solid angle. So from definition, from figure 1, from definition of solid angle, I hope you remember the concept of solid angle. So here we will have ds cos theta equal to r square d omega, right? So d omega is the angle, solid angle, I mean angle extended by this 3D angle, right? So this is our expression number 4, okay, where we can define this d omega is your solid angle subtended by q on area ds, right? So this is the definition of d omega. Now from here we are going to calculate the total displacement flux through the entire surface, Okay, so I'm omitting it. You can go back and check it again. So remember this four equations, 1 2 3 4. We will use this four equations and arrive at the next equations. So I'm omitting it, so you can go back and check it, right? So from now we can write from these things, we can write, therefore total displacement or flux through entire surface. Previously till now we were actually calculating in a differential surface element ds. Now we are going to calculate the total displacement or to flux throughout the entire surface. So what we will do, we'll simply use this term xi of this closed surface thing will come d of xi closed surface. Why? Because this is a closed surface one, it is a 3D sphere kind of thing. So this will be equals to this closed surface integral of d xi. So this will be equals to closed surface integral of d. We are just simply putting the value of this. So d ds cos theta, right? So we from here we can write this closed surface integral of d into r square d omega, right? We are just putting the values. So from the previous equations. So from here we can write q by 4 pi solid, so closed surface integral of d omega, right? So now from here what we can write, we can now find out the total displacement passing through the entire surface, right? So now we will evaluate total displacement, therefore we can write total displacement or flux passing through entire surface, that will be equal to xi equals to surface closed surface integral of d ds. These are vector notations. That means this will be equals to q and that will be equals to v rho dv. Why? Because the closed surface integral of this flux, that means the flux coming from the origin to all of the sides of the sphere that we are considering, and since all of the sides of the sphere we are considering, so this will be volume, so this will be rho dv. Hence the Gauss law, you can see the Gauss law is now hence proved, right? Now solid, fine, up to this is okay. So hence proved, so you can, this is the proof of Gauss law, right? So this is the last part of our discussion of today's class, where we will discuss the limitation of Gauss law, right? So limitation is simple, that let us first tell you what the limitation, that Gauss law will not be applied to non-Gaussian surfaces, right? So that means always Gauss law, whenever we apply this Gauss law, we can use this in case of Gaussian surface, that is if the surface enclosed the volume completely. So what is the for if anyone asks you about the limitation, where the Gauss law cannot be applied, you can just simply say that Gauss law can't be applied on non-Gaussian surfaces. You remember these points because sometimes I see that 1 or 2 marks of question appears that write the limitations of Gauss law. So you remember this point, Gauss law cannot be applied on non-Gaussian surfaces, right? And it can be applied only if the surface encloses the volume completely. This is also one major point you have to remember. It can be applied in cases only if the surface encloses the volume completely. That means if there will be, if the volume, suppose this volume, this kind of volume, so if there is some gap which is not a continuous line, so we will not be able to, with this closed surface integral which we are previously using in case of discussing Gauss law. So this closed surface, if there is some gap in between, it is not connected, so in that case Gauss law we cannot be applied, we cannot apply Gauss law. Gauss law will be applied only in that case where this gap will not be there, so it will be a continuous line or a continuous volume will be there. So these are the two important points you have to remember.